Hey homeschool friends, welcome back to the channel. So even if you are at like the beginning or ending stages of teaching your child to read, it is really helpful to have extra books on hand. Extra books that are really early readers, like very beginning readers, as well as books that are kind of like transitional chapter books. So they're really early chapter book type readers. They will help launch your child into reading bigger chapter books. And so I keep all of these books on one shelf in my homeschool room so that the kids have access to them so they can get what they need. And I'm going to show them all to you today. I'm going to show you all of the books I have, granted not the books that I use for school. So these books do not come with any curriculum. I have some wonderful readers that come with curriculum, whether it be Sonlight readers, which are probably my favorite, but the All About Reading readers as well as the Abeka readers are all really well done, will help your child read. But I'm not talking about those today because those are associated with school. These are associated with like nighttime reading, fun reading, books that I want my kids to realize that like reading is for fun. It is not just for school. So that's what today's video is about. I'm basically going to be taking you through my entire early reader, early chapter book shelf. So hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. So like I said, I'm going to be showing you all of my books, all of my early readers, early chapter book type books. And so my kids are currently 9, 8, 5, and 5. My 9-year-old I would call a pretty confident chapter book reader. So he has exited these early chapter books I'm going to show you today. And I actually have a video that I'm about ready to film about his favorite books that should be coming up soon on this channel. So stay tuned for kind of what he's moved into. But these are the books that really catapulted him into reading himself. So I have, like I said, kind of a newly confident chapter book reader. I also have an 8-year-old, my daughter, who is pretty solidly in these early chapter books that I'm going to be showing you today. She's branched out a little bit, and I do have a video coming for her. And so stay tuned for that. But these books she is still reading. And then I have 2 5-year-olds who will be needing all of these readers and early chapter books. So let me just hop into my entire collection. I hope this is interesting to you guys. I love watching these videos just to really get some good ideas. Let me start first with this. So this is technically called My First Reading Library from Usborne. These are great. These are really fun. My kids have loved pulling these out, exploring them, like looking at them, reading them. I can't say that either of my big kids like read all of these books, but they had access to them. Okay, so I just pulled a few out to show you a little closer because they are organized by color. So basically the green ones are labeled, and these are the very early ones. And they actually are helpful because in the back of the book, it will show you which letters are being highlighted or taught in this book. And so there's, I think, 15 of these books that are green, and they're set up more to kind of teach in a stepwise manner. So I believe my big kids have read all of these first ones. And then it gets into these, like they call them reading level 1 and reading level 2. I believe these ones, these orange ones, come next. And so this one's called like the rabbit's tail. And so you can see, again, there's not a ton, a line on each page, but you definitely need more phonemic awareness. You need to be reading a bit before you can pick these up. So they're not like really simple CVC type words. So you do need a little bit more skills. I did actually make a video about what books to use when you're doing All About Reading, which when we were doing that, it was really helpful to have some of these books. And then this is the last set. These are the purple ones, and there's a lot of these. And there's just a little bit more words per page, and these kind of are based off of like storybooks. And they do have these fun puzzles in the very back, which my daughter liked, my son could care less. So depending on your kids and if they like to talk through stuff like that, that's pretty fun. That's the Usborne Library. It is a lot of good books. I don't even know if they sell these anymore or if they sell something similar. They probably sell something similar. If they don't, it's really handy to have like these 50 books on hand because you will always find something your kids are interested in and that they can read. The other ones I want to show you are these ones. So I also have a lot of these I can read books. So beginning reading, reading with help kinds of books. So like this reading 2, this is the mouse soup one, and you can see about how much is on all these pages. And this is actually pretty similar to the types of books that are found in the level 2 Sonlight readers are these types of books. And so they're perfect. They're like the Frog and Toad and things like that. So I didn't have to buy any more of these because I had all my Sonlight readers. But that I just had extra. And then I did pick up the Little Bear books because my daughter really liked them. These are the beginning reading, so these are level 1s. But I felt like they were a little harder. than some of the other ones. And so there's more per page, I guess, which can throw off a kid as they're starting to read. But I think these were wonderful. All of my kids have liked these ones. So those are some of our extra readers. And then I did make a big purchase of readers, early readers from The Good and the Beautiful. Like, it might have been 3 years ago, 2 years ago, something like that, a while ago. I can link it, but the problem is they have changed so much of their library situation that you probably can't even get these books. But I feel like you can get something similar, or I hope you can. One thing I really liked, and I realized that these are not sold anymore. And after my twins use them, I'll probably sell them because they're fantastic. So these were the box sets. So this was, I got box B, C, and D. And they're great. They are really good. I feel like we definitely use these ones the most of the Good and the Beautiful books. And you always have kind of your sight words practice and some of the things the kids are working on. But these little ones are very quick and very confidence building. And same with as you get into some of these bigger ones. But I found the stories to be beautiful and the pictures to be beautiful. Sometimes the stories were a little boring, which is actually my critique of these books. And I know some families love them and they love the Good and the Beautiful stuff. My kids didn't love them as much, which made me sad. But I do have some really fun ones. These ones probably were the biggest hit. So I have these, they're like the Golden Tales books. And so I have the girl ones and the boy ones. The girl ones, Jane and the King, as well as A Crown for Kate. And I really like this. My daughter loved this one. It's about a girl who's blind, and it was just really sweet and had some good awareness there. And then these ones my son liked. So this is Blake the Brave and Jake and the Lost Maze. But my daughter did end up reading these because they're just really pretty, and they were a little bit more per page. These are technically, I think, level 1Bs. And so I don't know if they've changed any of their leveling or whatnot, but it took us a while to get into some of these books because I tended to use more of a phonemic kind of approach to teaching to read. And these do have more sight words. Actually, all these Good and the Beautiful books had more sight words. And so I did pick up a whole handful of these books. And some of them my kids really liked. Like my son liked this, Mark Lives on Mars. And just because of the subject matter. And again, this one was a level 1. And then some of them got a little bit bigger. And so one of my children were reading these. There's a Mark. But you can see kind of about how difficult they are. And I believe I got 1As and 1Bs. Yeah, my daughter definitely read these more because we read this one over and over with her. Lena's Toes. It had to do with ballet because my daughter loved this one. So I recommend this if you have a daughter who loves ballet. Actually, all of my kids read this one because this is probably the simplest one we had. Mole's Hole. These ones were favorites too, kind of to read around autumn. So this is Lily's Pumpkins. And then there's another one that was like Luke because she has a twin named Luke, which twins always go over really well at my house because I have twins. Luke's Adventure. There it is. I just had to look for it. And so it had to do with a lighthouse, and it's, again, following these twins. So we have loved these. They're really cute and really sweet. And there's other ones like The Mystery of the Missing Peas, I Am Molly, This is Mac. My daughter really liked this one. This is May's Cake. Again, they're really good. I feel like she has only recently kind of exited all of these types of books. Emma's Art. But I would still classify them as more late early readers, not quite into chapter books, though they might be even considered really early chapter books, honestly. So all of these were wonderful and beautiful. My kids didn't take to them quite as much as they took to some of these other books I'm going to show you, but we had them on our shelves, and I'm going to keep them on my shelves because I want my twins to have access to all the books they could have access to. And so let me move on then. I'm surrounded by books. Okay, so I pulled out the stack I have for my daughter. So these are what I would call early chapter books. The first two I want to show you, though, I would put on level with a lot of these Good and the Beautiful books, but my kids like them more. And those books are the Elephant and Piggy books, as well as Cat in the Hat type books. I mean, Elephant and Piggy, she could sit. This actually was one of those books for her that was really confidence building because she could read the entire thing in one sitting at night in her bed, and she would just get really excited. I mean, there's not very many words per page, and they're just really silly and really fun. And so she got a number of these as Christmas presents because we tend to use books for presents as well as celebration in my house. I don't know if anybody else does that, but usually at the beginning of school, the end of school, birthdays, all the things, I take the kids to Barnes & Noble. But, you know, here's a classic, The Cat in the Hat. And these ones were, again, something that she had heard enough that once she started reading it herself, she was really proud of herself for being able to, like, read it to her Nana and stuff like that. So all of these books I would kind of put in a very similar category. And then I would say I started to work into some of these types of books for her. So these were favorites. So if you're looking for good early chapter books, really transition chapter books for your daughters for Christmas or birthdays or something, I would highly recommend both of these series, especially this one. We really liked the Katie Wu series. I think I just bought a set of 8 and she read through them and she read through them again. And they're really sweet. It's about this girl named Katie and her friends, and there was one about ballet. I didn't grab that one. But you can see they're pretty early chapter books. They're kind of late readers. And then these ones are great too. So these are the Billy B. Brown books. They're part of the whole Usborne or whatever Usborne's called now. And they're a little bit more, you can see there's more per page. It takes a little bit more work. There are chapters. So this is definitely an early chapter book. And these go with the Hey Jack books from Usborne as well. So I loved these. And you can get them on Amazon. You don't have to order them through Usborne. Or you can, maybe, I'm not sure. But we really liked these two. So this really started her feeling more and more and more confident with her reading. And then she has recently gone to more of these types of books. Again, some favorites. So The Princess in Black. Again, I recommend that. I also recommend The Kingdom of Renly. So I would say these are still within that transition style book. I have more recommendations that will come when I talk about her favorite books as an 8-year-old. I have some other ones to share with you because she has definitely branched out into a lot of different series. But these ones, she's still reading. That's why I would say she's still in this transition step. But these are great. So The Kingdom of Renly, so this is the first book. You can see again, there's lots of pictures, but there's more text per page, and it takes her a little bit. And so at first I had to sit with her with these, but then I just let that go and let her read in her room, even though I know she's not getting it all. She's skipping words and stuff like that. But I think she's still building a love of reading. And here's The Princess in Black. I love these because they're color, but they have a very similar kind of approach. A decent amount of words, lots of pictures. And so she has a number of these, maybe like this first 8 of them or something. My kids love to collect books. I mean, I love to collect books, so I probably set that up for them. So that's really my daughter. Especially when you're talking kind of girl transition books outside of curriculum, I would recommend those. And then for my son, he just has different taste in books. So I would say, I'm looking at my list here, I would say what he kind of really started with were some of these books. So again, I have the Hey Jack. So this is the same as the Billy B. Brown. So we started on these. He was pretty good with them. I mean, he didn't love them as much as he loved these others. So he likes history books. And so I would get more of these. So we have like a dinosaur one. We have the King Tut. We have the Titanic and some others. And he enjoys these. He enjoys these quite a bit. And so that's another kind of early transition book. But I would say the thing that really pushed him over were these books, these Branches books from Scholastic. So these are Dragon Master books. And what it was, which I talked about last year, for him is he was able to listen to them on audio and then read them. So he was already very familiar with the story, familiar with how like the characters are pronounced and things like that. And so he felt very confident picking these up. And so I love it. So again, there's definitely more text per page in these Branches books, but there's also a lot of pictures and they're very simple stories. And we got him a similar set. These ones are called the Last Firehawk series. And these are really cute. It has kind of an owl in charge and they're really sweet. But they're also kind of very similar on the setup. So these ones I highly recommend as good transition chapter books because my son no longer reads these. He's not interested in these anymore. He has a good collection, and my daughter actually. You'll see when I talk about her stuff, she started to pick these up as well. And even my 5-year-olds like to listen to these on audio, so these have been a big hit. I would say some other ones for my son have been the Magic Tree House books. We haven't gotten into Magic Tree House as much. He read a little bit of these, but we had so many of like the Dragon Master ones that he didn't like deep dive into Magic Tree House like I know some families have. But he has read those, as well as this one. So this is Chicken Squad, and it's, you can see, it has kind of a similar amount of text per page, and then they're very silly and fun, and you'll see that that's kind of, my son likes history or he likes fun books, and so this one was a fun one that he also would read through. So for early chapter books, really, these ones probably were the biggest, and then he had a couple other ones that he would pick up, and I'm glad we had on our shelf for him. So I would say all in all, these are the books that we would use to support whatever program I was using to teach my kids to read. And of my two kids, I feel like they gravitated to different books, but I'm glad we had all of these on our shelves for them to use and be able to see reading as something that's not just a school subject. So I hope this was helpful for those of you who might be having those transitionary readers, like they're getting it and they need some extra books to really support where they're at. So I feel like these are a pretty good broad sweep of like when you're first starting to read to when you're pretty much exiting your need of a phonics program and you can kind of go and read yourself. So that's what I have. I hope it was helpful. Again, stay tuned for some of my kids' favorites books. I think I'll do my 9-year-old son first and then my 8-year-old daughter. So stay tuned for some of those because that'll be more recommendations for those ages and kind of stage in reading. So anyway, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you want to, and ask any questions you have down below. I always forget to say that. But otherwise, you guys, I will see you in the next homeschool video. All right, take care.